This is for anybody who is having a sad panda day or feeling like poo poo. That's what I'm going to call it. So, my name is Crystal Hovind, aka Crystal Clear Mystic. And I'm going to talk today about, I don't know, kind of having a poo poo day. It's interesting because just because you are like high vibe or your life is good or things are going well or you live in gratitude majority of the time, right? Doesn't mean that we don't have not great days, right? It doesn't mean that we don't experience like days where we wake up and we're cycling in the fear cycle, or we're starting something new or doing something new and we're like worried about how it's going to play out, or we're overthinking it, or we're like trying to figure out what's the next step, or we're thinking 100 steps ahead of something, right? Like, it's completely normal. It's completely normal to have a rough day here and there. It's completely normal to be unsure of where something is going to take you. It's, with the way that our society is set up, it is so normal to really be in like this futuristic thinking of what comes next, right? What is this thing going to bring in? What is this thing going to guide me to, right? And I think like there's just such a negative idea around these things. And the reality is it's human. We're humans, right? And especially around the holiday season, if you are not connected to your family, if you have recently experienced loss or grief, if you are someone who is reminded of someone who's passed or the ending that happened a year ago, right? Like, anytime we are hitting like an annual timeline of something, we think that like, well, we're in a better place than we were last year, so we're going to feel great, right? But I was just talking to a client about this. That's just like, you can't tell how you're going to feel about things until they happen, right? Like, you can have all these ideas about how something is going to make you feel or where you're going to be at in it, and the reality is that happens and you're like, damn, I didn't think it was going to feel like this. And the truth is that you really never know how you're going to feel about something until it's here and it's time for you to actually experience it, right? And I think also a lot of the time it's normal to feel two different sides of the coin at the same time. So, like, feeling like, yeah, proud, like, wow, I came so far since last year, whatever, right? But then also feeling like sadness about that, right? It's so normal to have that experience. And hardly ever do we experience an emotion by itself in isolation. Almost always we experience multiple emotions at once for different reasons, but regardless, still the same. And so, this is a reminder that it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to wake up on the wrong side of the bed, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's okay to be in that space. It's okay to feel blah, right? Like, we're not going to wake up feeling great every single day. And, it makes me think about when the sun is going crazy, the sunspots or whatever, the flares, that's what they call it. When that's happening, how like there's like people that feel aggravated, on edge, irritable, right? Like, there's just so many different components of what could be affecting your energy and your body that really could affect your mood, right? And I think, it's about learning to be gentle with yourself on these days. Learning not to like over push and overdo. Learning to just let it be. And I have definitely been guilty of like feeling rough and then feeling like if I do all these things on my to-do list and I check off all these boxes, then I'll feel better, right? Because then at least I did these things and I'll feel so good about myself for getting these things done. But it also overexerts my body, and I'm like pushing myself and forcing myself to do these things. And does it really feel better checking the thing off the list? I mean, I guess I don't have to do it the next day, but what I've come to realize is that it actually feels better to just let myself be on these days, to actually shift my focus to something else. So, it's not about shoving through and pushing through, which I used to be somebody who responded in a fight response. So that was kind of like my thing. Like, I felt that way. Let's fight through it. Let's push through it. Let's, like, we're going to make it. We're going to prove it, right? We're going to get it done. And like, I would burn out pretty fast. And I would burn out pretty easily over the course of time of doing that, right? And I've just learned that, like, so I feel like poo-poo today. Sad pandas, whatever you want to call it. And that's okay. And actually, when I let myself be in that space and I let myself feel what I need to feel there, and I, journal about it, or I talk to someone about it, like, and I get it off my chest, and then I have like an emotional release, it actually doesn't last all day. It actually only lasts like an hour or two, compared to like when I used to push through, it would last hours, if not the whole day, or it would last days in a row, because I wasn't being kind to myself. I wasn't being gentle. I wasn't like recognizing that this pushing through was needing to prove that I'm okay. And the reality is I'm just fucking not. And that's okay too. And it's okay to not be okay, right? It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to feel frustrated. And so, I woke up today a little bit in a fear-based reaction response, doing something new, never done it before, putting myself out there in a way, and putting my creative action and work out there in a way, which is really scary, right? The fact that you're putting yourself out there to be seen and you could fail or you could fall on your face, I mean, pretty scary. And, I definitely was having like all these worries and these thoughts that came up about it. And, sometimes just acknowledging that that is what it is and it's okay actually helps it to pass. Talking to a friend and just expressing it helps it to pass. I would say that, like, and I personally don't believe in the fake it till you make it kind of thing. Like, I'm not the guy. I'm not that one. I'm not that guy. So, like, if I'm feeling rough, like, I'm the first person to tell you, like, oh, day's not great. Like, things are a little rough today, right? I will always be the first one to tell you that. But I also will give myself the space to kind of be in that space and feel what I need to feel and then shift focus. And I think that's something that I've learned over time that is just so helpful, is like not ruminating and staying there, but tapping in there, feeling what I need to feel in there, and then asking myself, like, okay, so that is what it is. What do you need right now? Like, what do you need right now to feel better? And for today, for me specifically, because it was a little bit bleh, I needed to just lay in bed for a little while. And I just needed to kind of just be and rest and like not focus on my thoughts and just rub my little baby's belly, my dog. And we just laid in bed and we cuddled, and I was able to kind of like shift in ways afterwards, And then like, turning on music and dancing it out of my body and system and singing a little bit helped me kind of like be able to move through it. I talked to a friend today, and, being heard and seen really, really helps when someone can just like hold that space for you. And that felt really great. I made myself some really good soup, and grounding, things like that can be really helpful. I made sure to get outside for a little bit. I putzed around the yard, but I got outside enough to like be in touch with Mother Nature, watch my dog run around in the backyard and try to play, and, gave me a little bit of a smile, right? Like, sometimes it's about just showing up in the little ways. Sometimes it doesn't have to be anything huge. It doesn't have to be anything big, right? But I think one of the things I've specifically learned is that It's so much better to show up in those little ways. And I really need to pay attention to how I'm talking to myself, right? Like, and that will either keep something lasting really, really long, or it will keep something more compact into a smaller way. So this is kind of what they talk about in psychological terms, is like self-compassion or positive self-talk, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, I'm not a fake it till you make it kind of person, so I'm not saying lie to yourself, okay? But what I am saying is, like, don't add on to it. So a lot of the times when we're feeling down in the dumps, like, we add on to it. And I hear this from clients all the time. They say things like, well, I'm always going to feel this way. Nothing ever works out for me. Nobody cares about me, right? I deserve to feel this way. Nothing's working out for me ever, right? I'm always sad and depressed, right? And the reality is that when you are saying those things to yourself, you are kind of reinforcing beliefs, and you're telling yourself certain things that, first off, are probably not true and only elongate the yucky feeling. It elongates the feeling of not feeling good. And so I would challenge you to, maybe that is your first thought, and that's okay, right? But as you are learning to shift that into a different way of being, so that it doesn't have to be a complete breakdown of a day, right? Or days in a row like I used to be. Maybe you're more like that, right? It's like, yeah, right now kind of sucks. And I'm going to let it suck for a little bit. And then I'm going to do something to make myself feel better, right? Maybe I'm going to go take a nice hot shower afterwards. Or I'm going to take a bubble bath. Or I'm going to sit and color, right? Like, what are the ways that you can take really good care of yourself and love on yourself to let yourself know that it's okay to feel those things? Like, it's like in a society, we really are just like taught that, like, negative emotions, avoid them at all cost. Taboo, right? No, it's human. It's completely human and normal. And if someone tells you that they don't feel bad ever, or they are never in a bad mood, then first off, they're either lying to you, but they are especially lying to themselves, because it is just part of the human condition. It is normal. It is just part of being human, right? We live in this universe where there is polarity. There is the good and there is the bad, and there's everything else in between, right? And so things are going to shift and be. And when we sit in this mindset of like, it's going to be this way forever, I'm never getting out of this, or I'm always in this, right? We're just kind of feeding that mentality and that, giving ourselves really permission to sit and sulk and stay there, right? And so I think, like, the way you talk to yourself is so important, and it's going to affect your ability to, like, pick yourself back up and love on yourself and self-soothe so that you can feel better throughout the day or not, right? And it's just a reminder, the choice is yours. You get to decide how long you stay in the yuck for. And, if you even attend to the yuck at all, or you just pretend like it's okay and you avoid and ignore, because it ain't going nowhere. It will be back. The more we shove things, the more that they hang out under the surface. And then the deeper that kind of stuff sits and settles, right? It doesn't go away. It just resurfaces at different points in time, and even heavier usually. So, suppressing is not helpful either. It's learning that balance of taking care of, loving on, holding, right? But not staying there for too long, and taking little dabble moments to go and do something that brings you joy, that makes you giggle, that makes you laugh, right? And sometimes maybe that's watching a kid's movie, whatever it is, right? Whatever you need to do to just give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back and you're doing great and I love you and we're going to get through this and it's okay. So this is just a reminder, it's okay to have a bad day. If you do want to work with me one-on-one, you can go ahead and take a look at my bio. I do coaching and all that kind of stuff to help people with this kind of mindset kind of pieces if you do need help. But you don't have to feel yuck forever. It's about learning how to hold and love on and take care of and balance. Love and light.